Hi Jambareeqi, look what I've got for you.
Oh, hi, it's the Easter rabbit. Oh, you've got me a chocolate egg. Oh, wow. But I shouldn't have that because I'm actually trying to have a really healthy diet right now. So I'm having fruit, veg. I'm trying to follow a really strict routine of eating very good food. I don't want junk food in my system because junk food... Give me the fucking egg! Don't look at me! Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. For those of you who don't know, I've been reviewing Luc Besson's Arthur trilogy. Last week I reviewed the first film, Arthur and the Invisibles. What's it about? Well, Arthur and the Invisibles is an animated / live-action fantasy adventure. Set in the 1960s, it follows Arthur, a happy-go-lucky little boy who is living with his granny. Every night, Granny tells Arthur about the legend of the Minimoys, a species of tooth-sized elfin creatures. One day, Granny is threatened with eviction unless she can pay her debts back. Luckily, apparently Arthur's granddad was given some rubies by a tribe he helped. After much searching, Arthur discovers that the Minimoys have been living in their back garden all this time. Not only that, he also finds out that the rubies are being kept inside their world. So, Arthur decides to enter the Minimoys realm and is turned into a Minimoy in the process. Once inside, Arthur must not only try to find the rubies, but also defeat the evil Maltazard, who plans to drown the Minimoys. I found this to be a very generic and average film. In this episode, I'm going to review its sequel, Arthur and the Revenge of Maltazard. Yeah, I don't know why it's called Maltazard in the title and Maltazard in the film. That name makes him sound like a Pokemon. So, is this sequel superior to the first film, or a complete step below? Let's find out. Arthur and the Revenge of Maltazard is a French animated / live-action fantasy adventure. The story follows Arthur again, who has recently passed a spiritual test for a tribe. He is very excited because he's going to be returning to the Minimoys world for a banquet. Unfortunately, Arthur's father is tired of staying at Arthur's grandparents' home, so the family have to leave, which is terrible timing because the Minimoys have sent a message for help to Arthur. Arthur escapes his car and returns to his grandparents' house. With support from his granddad and the tribe, Arthur enters the Minimoys world and discovers that things have changed. So, what's going on? Is Princess Selenia okay, and is everything as it seems? This sequel is certainly slower paced and less noisy than the first film, but it's really underwhelming and boring. So yeah, it's definitely a step backward from Arthur and the Invisibles. To start with, unlike the first film, there's no patronising narrator explaining everything to the audience like they're all a bunch of idiots. Instead, we get things told to us through long-winded flashbacks. Now, flashbacks can be a good thing, they can unravel information through interesting visuals, but this movie's flashbacks go on for too long and hold the story up. I mean, the details that these flashbacks try to get across could have been told a lot quicker and shorter. So yeah, the flashbacks aren't that entertaining, inventive or creative. They're more like filler to keep the film going until it reaches the 90-minute mark. Second of all, like I said, this film is slower than the first movie. However, it's just not eventful enough to carry off a slow pace. The story for the first film may have been very formulaic, but at least some things were happening. This movie is more focused on building mystery than making us invested. Yes, I like how the movie is keeping us in the dark about what sinister trouble is really going on, but the movie doesn't keep us entertained while we're waiting to find out the truth. Arthur doesn't enter the underground fantasy world until 45 minutes into the 90-minute movie. Yeah, it takes that long to get the ball rolling in this film. From this point on, we're just watching Arthur racing to the Minimoys, which isn't as exciting as you may think. The film feels really small because it refuses to paint a big picture, which, like I said, makes the whole thing feel very underwhelming. When we finally find out the truth, it's not a very big twist and feels like a letdown. I won't reveal anything, but let's just say that it's not that shocking or surprising. However, the visuals are colourful, there's a few funny moments, not many, but there's a couple, and the movie does actually have a very dark and dramatic scene, where Arthur has to go through a painful and dangerous process to enter the Minimoy's world, after the safe portal fails. He constantly screams for it to stop, and it's actually a very harrowing ritual to watch. So, kudos to Besson for not shying away from a very dark territory in a kids' film. You know how I said that Arthur is a high-spirited and energetic boy in the first movie? Well, all that innocent energy has vanished in this sequel. Sure, Arthur is still persistent and focused, but all that passion and wide-eyed wonder has gone. This is mainly thanks to Freddie Highmore's performance, which I will get to later. Arthur's just not that charismatic or fun in this movie. I like how he embraces nature at the start of the film, but he's just missing so much personality throughout the rest of the movie. Princess Elenia barely appears in this movie, and has hardly any dialogue. To top it off, she's been changed into a boring damsel in distress. In the first movie, she was a no-nonsense soon-to-be queen with confidence and a feisty attitude. This time round, she's completely underused and all her charisma has gone. One of the only good things that I can say about this film is that there's more scenes with Max. As I said in my last review, I really like Max. He's cool, slick, and laid back. So it's great that he has more screen time in this sequel because I find him to be a very fun presence.
Snoop Dogg will eat you.
Betamesh is still lively and playful, but this time I actually felt sorry for him. It's clear that nobody respects him even though he's a prince. It's kind of sad. Actually, it also makes little sense. Why don't people notice him? He's royalty. I don't know. I still like him.
Now, Maltazard only appears briefly at the end of the movie. I can't reveal many clips of him or talk about him that much without giving away spoilers. Let's just say that he's not very articulate or intimidating this time round. He's more of a goofy and whimsical villain. I wouldn't mind this if he was a funny comic villain, but he's not. He just comes across as a wimpy doofus.
Arthur's parents also have a lot more scenes in this film, which I don't like because they're pretty annoying. His dad is a bumbling, obnoxious idiot, and his mum is an irritating drama queen. They definitely show love for their son, but their antics are way too over the top and silly. There's no charm or humour to their buffoonery. I guess that small children may be amused by their comic relief, but personally I felt aggravated by them both. Arthur's grandparents are back too, and they're just as lovely as last time. Arthur's granny is delightful, sweet and sensibly grounded, while Arthur's granddad is adventurous, passionate and almost childlike in nature. Visually, this is a very colourful movie, even more colourful than the first film. There's more bright and neon choices of colours, which may be ugly to some viewers, but personally I think it's very attractive and pleasant to the eyes. It just looks really vibrant and fun to me. Shame that the film is as boring as drying paint though. Again, the character designs are a nice mix of cool and adorable. The Minimoys are still cute to look at, and there's some evil minions called unicorns that have badass designs. The rendering is also of a high caliber, so there's plenty of pretty CGI to observe. The animation for this film is certainly more expressive than the first movie. Again, the gestures have lots of personality to them. Each action reflects a clear emotion or expression. The faces are a little more active this time, but not by that much. So yeah, the animation is just a tiny little bit better this time. There still needs to be a lot more life in the characters' faces, because they do sometimes look more like dolls than fairy tale creatures. What more can I say? It's just a minor improvement. Okay, so the interesting thing about this movie is that a lot of the cast members have been replaced. Nearly everyone is a pop star or a rapper still, but there are changes. At the same time, some of the cast members from the first film have returned.
Freddie Highmore once again plays Arthur, and he seems like he's not that invested in the film. Maybe he only agreed to this movie to save up money or something, but man does he seem tired. All that energy and emotion he displayed in the first film is completely vacant in this sequel. His voice acting hasn't improved either. He still sounds wooden, stilted, and unexperienced.
Oh, hey Mum. What's up?
You tell me.
Nothing. Just playing.
Really?
Grandpa gave me a new train.
Let me see.
What are you doing?
Checking for illegal immigrants.
I can have something to hide. Max, Selenia is in danger. Please, help me.
Lordy Lord, you and your princess. Come on, follow me.
Pop star Selena Gomez has replaced Madonna as the voice of Princess Selenia for this sequel. Like I said, her character doesn't have much to do or say, so there's barely anything for me to comment on. Seriously, I think she only has 1 or 2 lines plus a few screams. It's more like a tiny cameo than a full-on performance.
Arthur, my prince, you saved my life again.
The late Lou Reed has taken over David Bowie in the role of Maltazard. Now, Lou does a decent job of reading his lines, but he doesn't sink his teeth into the role. He doesn't sound like a villain. He doesn't sound scary, evil, or malevolent. He sounds so normal and casual. So I found Reed to be a complete miscast. It's like Besson thought, okay, we can't get David Bowie, we're gonna have to get a different rock star. So let's get Lou Reed to do it. No, you can't just cast someone because they're famous. You have to think, is this person right for the role?
Snoop Dogg reprises his role as Max. With more material to work with, Dogg puts in a decent effort and lets his distinct charm shine through.
You new around here, ain't you?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, when you tip into someplace new, you gotta invest. Gotta take time to know what's up, also. You dig?
Hey, I'm in Crove's army. I don't have to know what's up, you dig?
I know that. But out here, you're far, far away from your little hole.
Doug Rand replaces comedian Jimmy Fallon as Betamesh. He does an okay job, nothing fancy, but he fits the part.
Okay, now hit the second button to the left of the big one. Whoa! Very pretty, but this isn't the time for the play, sorry. Perfect! Now put them to work on the creeper.
Robert Stanton and Penny Balfour play Arthur's parents. Stanton comes off as a wormy twit as Arthur's dad, plus Balfour is a mixed bag. She can be convincingly sweet and sensitive, but sometimes she's annoying and overdramatic.
Oh, gotcha, you little flying nuisance. Not quite so buzzy now, are you? Honey, it worked. My honey trap worked. Check this out.
Where are you? I can't see you, honey.
Ron Crawford and Mia Farrow play Arthur's grandparents. Both do great jobs and seem convincing in their parts. Farrow is effectively sensitive and stern, while Crawford is energetic and bouncy without being annoying.
Archie?
Oh, sweetheart, what a surprise you're not asleep.
What's going on? Where's Arthur?
He's in the garden.
You let him go back? Oh my God.
The music score for this film is less cheesy and over the top than the first film's score. This time the compositions are a little more subtle and versatile. However, most of the time I didn't really notice the score, so it's not that memorable or impressive.
Another thing about the soundtrack is that at one point, a really cool beat starts playing while Max is talking. And I assumed that at any minute, Snoop Dogg was gonna start rapping. I was like, oh, this is so cool, let's go, it's gonna be Snoop Dogg, he's gonna rap like, And he doesn't rap, the music stops. It's like, what the hell, man? I would have forgiven this film for lots of its flaws if it had an original Snoop Dogg song in the middle of it.
The worst aspect of this movie's soundtrack, in my opinion, has to be the end credits song, which is a corny parody cover of Lady Gaga's Poker Face. It's really lame and terribly warbled by its singer. Not only that, it doesn't suit the end credits for a children's fantasy movie. It comes off as a dorky attempt to seem hip and cool. The credits music for a fairy tale movie should be charming or epic, to help leave behind a warm and fuzzy feeling in the audience.
To conclude, Arthur and the Revenge of Maltazard may be kind of funny sometimes, slightly dark for one scene, and very pretty to look at, but as a whole, it's kind of underwhelming and boring. It's more like build-up for the third movie rather than a legitimate feature-length story. I'm going to give this film 2 strawberries out of 5. Now, if some of you are still wondering if this movie is your cup of tea, then consider this. If you enjoyed such titles as Boo, Zeno and the Snurks, Fern Gully, or James and the Giant Peach, then you may get a little something out of this film. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope you've enjoyed my review. I encourage you to subscribe to my channel and please feel free to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. In the next episode, I'm going to review the third and final part of the Arthur trilogy, Arthur and the War of Two Worlds. Happy Easter, everyone! I'm going to celebrate this occasion by painting an egg in lots of colourful, vibrant ways. Cheerio, folks!